Hi everyone, my name is Ivo and welcome to one more Netgen webinar. This is actually our 12th webinar, but there was a bit of a pause in last year, so now we are restarting our regular webinars. This webinar is about our stack for Easy Platform, a stack of components brought together in one place to serve our projects better, and we want to share this with the community. So here is in this webinar you will learn more about this to get some sort of a high overview of all the components we use. Okay, so before we start, let's just quickly say a few words about me. So I'm a managing partner of Netgen. I have 20 years of experience in web. I'm also quite focused on one of the components of the stack, which is called Netgen Layouts, which is a product that we are working on. And I'm also the chief organizer of the Web Summer Camp. One slide about the company. Netgen is a creation-based company, and this is our, let's say, the shortest sentence that we can have to describe what we are trying to do. We want to make the web to be better for the end users and easier for the makers, and you are the makers. So hope it's interesting what we have to offer to you. Okay, so let's just try to describe what we are talking about today. Netgen Stack, that's a ready-to-use open source solution for easy-based projects. It incorporates a lot of best practices, source code, solutions, extensions from 15 years of us using the product. Easy, and first it was Easy Publish, now it's Easy Platform CMS. A short overview diagram. So of course in the bottom we have Easy, and then we have three standalone components that you can actually use on its own. So one of them is Netgen Layouts as our core product, and then also Site API for Easy Platform, a productivity layer, which I will talk a bit later, and also Netgen Admin UI, which is an interface that we use. And then on top of that, we have a sort of bundled functionalities around our site baseline, let's say. And there are two parts. One is the site bundle, which is something that we reuse across sites. And then we have the media site, which is a boilerplate code generated when you start the project, which also can have some demo design and demo data, which I will mention later. So what are the bits and pieces of the stack? So first of all, of course, it's Easy Platform, and Easy Platform is based on Symfony, so obviously Symfony as well. We use the most recent version of Easy 2.5. We also should be ready for the version 3 as well. We also use Symfony PHP framework version 3, which is something that we follow Easy because Easy is based on Symfony. So the first thing from where I want to start to talk about the stack is not about the code itself, not about the functionality, but about the content model. So if you are an Easy developer, you know that Easy Platform and previously Easy Publish was very well known in terms of content model flexibility. And this is something that we are leveraging as much as we can. Easy comes with certain content types that just to show the functionalities or the possibilities, but it proved to be a little bit limited in terms of what these content types have. So we ended up always extending them. So in the end, we just created our own a set of content types, except a couple of very basic ones. So the ones that are original are things like image or file or user group. The rest is content types that we define, which are all SEO ready. So they have fields regarding metadata, short, long titles, URL, texts, also open graph images and things like that. So I have five kind of content types. So generic articles, news articles, blog posts, topics, these are all kind of content pages or used for content pages. I also have media content, which is videos, galleries, audios. Then structural pages like front pages, landing pages, category pages. And then also content pieces, which don't have their own full views, like banners, menu items, shortcuts, and in the end, some helper objects like site info objects, cookie policy objects, HTML box, which is quite an important one, etc. So this is all you get when you install our stack. The next thing that you get is what I mentioned before in the media site. The example site that we built is a responsive demo, which we call the media site. It has a responsive a set of boilerplate bootstrap for templates for all the views, and it also has some nice content from the topic fit and healthy. I will show that, or I will demo it later. There's a lot of typical ready-to-use blocks and layouts that we built for this site, and there's a lot of features like related multimedia blocks or main topic functionalities or tags and things like that. One additional thing to all this is while we were designing this demo site, we wanted to show how you actually start the project in terms of design. So it's not just about the code, it's about how you structure, how do you assemble the site from the start. And one important thing is that while using layouts and easy together, it's very kind of strong way of building the site in terms of atomic design, which means that you need to think about all the pieces, atoms and molecules that are used to build a site. It kind of forces you to. So to show how you can do that is by giving a pattern library for the demo design. And let me show you quickly the demo design, the demo design pattern library. So here you go. So this is a PDF that you can download from our pages, which shows off what are the components and atoms for building the demo site. So, for example, the components which could be, typography, it could be colors, it could be assets like buttons and images, etc. This is like the generic things that all designs have. What is a bit specific for our case is the view types, which are mostly molecules level. So, for example, if you have a content shown in a block or something, there's a lot of variations of how this content should be rendered. So we call this the view type. So we in the pattern library we define these view types, and later you will see them in layouts when I will demo the same view type. So, for example, we have the standard with intro, overlay, line, list, and mini. Of course, this is all extendable, but if you think about them, so for example, this is a typical standard view type, and then you have for every content type that makes sense. And then we have the standard with intro, which is more or less the same. It just has additional intro text. And then we have the overlay, which is again simple, but a bit different in terms of design. So all these view types are defined in this pattern library and then used when constructing the blocks and layouts. We also define the hierarchy, so which means that we define how the blocks and containers and layouts actually function together. So we have the layout, which is the overarching element. Then we have the containers, which is about the columns, and then we have the blocks, which could be different ones like sushi bars and grids, and then we have these items of content placed inside. For example, in the demo side, we have the structure of the page showing that we have a block with 3 news, which are using the overlay item view. And then we have the additional block, which has 2 columns. And then on the second part, we have a article with standard with intro item view type. And then we have on the left, we have the list of different content, which has the list view type, etc., etc. So there's a lot of these examples in the pattern library, just to show what are the possibilities. So let's go back to the presentation. So let's continue. Of course, there's many other issues. I just mentioned recently important ones like the features related to GDPR, things like pluggable consent form, which I will show, expiry scripts for collected data, removal anonymization of user data, etc. So now this brings us to some bigger parts of the stack. The first of all, our flagship product, Netgen Layouts. There's a lot of previously webinars and there's upcoming webinars about layouts. There's a lot of content on our website, so I will not go into too much details, just to say that Layouts is a Symfony-based open source generic site building framework and UI. This is, again, the shortest sentence I can tell to describe it. It's coupled with Easy on our Netgen stack, and it's used extensively, as I will show you. The second major thing for the stack is what we call the Site API for Easy Platform. The whole idea behind Site API is just about developer productivity and making things simpler. So in this case, on the right side, you even if you are not a developer, you might understand what's happening there. It's about getting your related articles and then going through each of them and rendering the link, the title, and the image. So this is like making simple traversing content in templates, transparently handling languages, preventing site crashes due to field inconsistencies. Also having things like a filter service, which is bypassing Solr storage, even if the Solr storage is configured. A lot of built-in configurable query types. Also quite good, important for the development is rendering without sub requests, which significantly reduces loads in developer mode. Also something new came in version 3.2, named objects and redirects in view configuration. So definitely good to check it out. The next thing is the Netgen admin UI. It's basically the old easy legacy administration turned into a Symfony app with a fresh visual design. So we did this several years ago just to enable working on Symfony features in the old administration interface, but still keeping the features that we use every day. This is something that we still use, although the Easy Platform version 2 UI is definitely catching up in terms of features. One of the consideration is to deprecate the Netgen admin UI. Maybe next year we will see, and then start using the version 2 UI. You can already use the Easy Platform version 2 UI with our stack. The only thing that you need to do is migrate the old rich text fields into the new rich text fields. That's why the main reason why you actually cannot use them both at the same time. So you need to choose either using the admin UI or the Easy Platform UI. So definitely you can choose whatever you like. In case if you are using the Easy Platform UI, you need to migrate the content types definition, as I already said. And you can then remove the Netgen admin UI with the whole legacy bridge and legacy kernel. Optionally, what is also possible is to add our remote media bundle, which is basically the integration with Cloudinary digital asset management. And this provides quite interesting features. So first of all, it provides processing of images in the cloud. So it saves you a lot of processing power on your server. Additionally, not just about processing, it's also about additional features. So quite important feature is that you can crop each image alias separately. You know, like if you have a big image or a small image, usually the cropping is not the same, and this integration or this bundle can do that. Then you have some other Cloudinary features like automatic cropping based on people's faces, on the centering around faces and things like that. Of course, it's a cloud, so the media files, the images will be served via CDN. And last but not least is it really helps with development because all the images are not locally. You don't need to handle them. They are in the cloud, so spinning off that instances is way faster because you don't have all this storage which you need to carry around. And then regarding the stack, there is other things like already set Webpack and core front-end asset building. We also have a Sentry support, which is about collecting all the logs from production or from staging into one place, and then you can see how things are, what's happening. That's definitely useful. And then other things like our well-known text bundle, and then information collection bundle, and so on and so on. So time to show a bit. So let's switch to the screen. Just a second. Okay, so now what you see here is our demo site, which is being shown, the homepage. Of course, you see the first thing that you see is this huge cookie consent form, which is built in. It's also configurable, simple to change all the text and what is enabled, what is not enabled, etc. I will do I will accept what is offered, because otherwise it will be quite boring to always see it. Now it remember that I'm okay with all the configuration. So the demo site is, you know, something like a very typical, very simple, small media portal with a lot of showcases of different blocks, etc. It also features categories, for example, with additional blocks, things like Ajax blocks, which can load more items. This is a typical block functionality. Also lazy loading of images. This is something that we have out of the box. And then article pages that feature things like tags, etc., pre-footers. So let's look how this looks in the backend. So what you see now is the Netgen administration interface. It's probably familiar if you are an old Easy Publish user. It's definitely similar. Doesn't look exactly the same, but you can easily get around. You see the typical easy tree, etc. All the features are there. The layouts integration is incorporated into this interface. We can check how the home page layout looks. You can see all the blocks that we saw before. Just to show you the already mentioned view types. So if I go to the design tab of the grid block, which is the first one on the home page, you will see that I have a view type for this block. What I can see on another kind of block here is that it's a list view type for the block, but the item view type has a list item item view type, and I can change this. What I can also do is I can override the view type for the first, just for the first item, and say, for example, I want a list item with intro, and I'm saving this, and this will look different on the home page. Just to show that we also have the Easy Platform version UI enabled. Here you can see the same content in this interface. Like I already mentioned, it's fully functional, except that we cannot use it at the same time because of the rich text fields. Okay, so let's go back to the, one more time to the presentation, just to wrap it up. So who uses our stack? That's an interesting question. We are using that for many, many years. We built many different projects with that, with high traffic, with a lot of different site accesses, with a lot of complex content, etc., etc. Important piece is that we are actually not the only ones using it. There's other companies also using our stack. What is coming soon? Major thing is happening in December. In the version 1.1 of layouts, we will have preview. I will also have a webinar about that. The remote media bundle is getting a support for the UI version 2, the information collection as well. There are some small features that are always happening, and the whole team is contributing to the stack. So any questions? There is a Q&A feature in this webinar that you can use. Okay, so the first question about compatibility with Easy Platform 2.5. Yes, of course, we are compatible. We are, the whole stack is based on that, so it's fully compatible in that sense. In terms of the underlying content repository and content APIs, etc. And like I mentioned, the only problem is with the interface and with the rich text fields. The second question regarding migrating Netgen admin UI to Symfony, or actually losing the legacy. That's a good question. That's one of the things that we didn't have time to tackle recently, but I think we will do that in next year. We will try to see what can we do with that, and to lose completely the legacy kernel and the legacy bridge. So stay tuned about that. The next question is how complex is to use different templates or different markup. Okay, we use the Bootstrap 4, and this is something that we learned over the years, is to have the process of first building the features and using the markup, and then doing the CSS work on top of that. But I also understand that in many situations, as a developer, you get a finalized HTML, CSS prototype that you need to incorporate. Of course, it will be way easier if the markup is Bootstrap 4, If it's not, it's still not the end of the world. So there will be more work to incorporate different templates, but it should be straightforward work. So nothing really complex. Okay, the next question is regarding pricing. Well, it's an open source solution, so you can use it. Actually, you can try it right away. You go to GitHub. There is also some documentation on our site, and you can try it out yourself. And the question also about how handicapped if we are, if regarding the difference between open source version and the commercial parts. Yes, this is something that I did mention. So the whole system is, or the whole stack is open source, except as a part of layouts, which is the commercial side of the layout. So let's quickly just open the, just a second. Let's go again to the layouts page, which you can find on our website. It has a table of comparison between the layouts open core and enterprise version. And here is a list of the features that will be different. We are only talking about layouts here. So for layouts, there is a feature of user roles and policy management, layout translations, some cache level, block level caching, scheduling visibility for block items, and the upcoming preview feature. Those are the things that are in commercial. Everything else is open source. All of these features are actually not necessary, especially not for small projects, but they are very, very handy and are very interesting to use on medium or big size projects. Okay, if there are no other questions, do check out our website. So we have the special page for the Netgen stack for easy platform, also special page for Netgen layouts. We also have the Netgen documentation that you can also find with installation instructions for the media site, for layouts as well. Also a lot of documentation about the site API. Of course, a lot of this is also about easy platform, so you can check also the documentation for easy platform, etc. So let's go back to finally to the presentation. As I already mentioned, you can try it out, and one thing you can also do is request a demo instance. The only difference is that the demo instance, which we provide for you, also has the commercial versions of layouts. Okay, no more questions. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next webinar, which should be scheduled sometime in December. Thank you and bye-bye.